me guess. Your home?
It was, and it was beautiful.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. I always get a lot of questions about who the next big villain is going to be during Marvel Phase 4, and there are a couple big options, but because they're going with Eternals as this sort of new IP that they're trying to develop, it also implies that a big possibility is stuff that they're lining up in the comics right now. If you didn't know, the people that lived on the planet Titan, like he talks about during this clip, were Eternals, so Thanos' parents were Eternals, making him the first real Eternal that we met in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So if you haven't been reading the comics, I'll explain how they've changed some of the backstory for the Eternals and what it changes about the true history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe going back billions of years. So that's one of the cool things about the Eternals. I did a video a little while ago talking about how Kevin Feige was teasing more Phase 4 Eternals stuff. He said that, it's basically these characters that inspire myths and legends. They live in the mountains of Olympia in Greece, so that gives you a good idea. If you're finding me for the first time, there is a new round of that Infinity War Blu-ray giveaway too. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video. I'll name a new winner at the end of this. The crazy thing here is that what we used to think is that the Eternals were created by the Celestials as a sort of grand cosmic experiment to shepherd the Earth and sort of help them develop. While they were doing that, the Celestials also laid the groundwork for metahumans to proliferate by seeding special genetic material into other races. So all this dates to the dawn of Homo erectus, which is about 1.8 million years ago on planet Earth. So they sort of rewrite what the original history of the Earth is and where metahumans came from and what the true purpose of the Eternals was. Like the Celestials have this grand cosmic experiment going on in the background. The Avengers have been through all these conflicts, so naturally they feel like they're pretty good people, even though sometimes they lose to get their S's handed to them, their friends die, they still end up winning the day in the end, like they just survived secret wars after the Beyonders tried to completely destroy their multiverse. Iron Man goes to Olympia, finds that all the Eternals are dead, mysteriously. Wouldn't it be weird that Marvel's killing all the Eternals in the comics right before they introduce them in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a little while? They find a dead Celestial buried deep in the earth that was killed by Odin in the ancient Avengers. I'll do a video about them later this week. They're actually pretty cool. So remember that the Celestials created the Eternals and seeded the earth with life that was responsible for the proliferation of humans as well as metahumans. So everything on planet Earth was based on an experiment that the Celestials were running, while at the same time, Loki is giving the same type of story to Captain America, telling him what really happened, only in a much more sinister way, like he's having a little bit more fun with it. Icarus reveals that the Celestials' true purpose for the Eternals wasn't to shepherd humanity. What happens is the Celestials are tasked by Eternity, which is sort of the physical embodiment of the multiverse, to garden Eternity, like seed life. If there are weeds, there are experiments on planets that don't work out with certain types of life forms, they come back and they kill it off. So it's been almost a couple million years since humanoid life has been on planet Earth. Now there's a celestial host that's going to descend and destroy the planet because Icarus reveals that it was a failed experiment. Loki says the same thing to Captain America. We are here to cull you. So because the Celestials are the agents of the multiverse, it's sort of like the multiverse saying that planet Earth does not deserve to exist. It's a weed to be destroyed. It's kind of funny watching Loki try to blow Captain America's mind. So you start to see how that could be a major threat in Marvel Phase 4. Big celestial level problems. We got a little taste for that with Ego the Living Planet when he said he was going to terraform the entire universe so that everything would become a piece of him.
Only we can remake the universe. Only we can take the bridle of the cosmos and lead it to where it needs to go.
How?
You need to readjust the way you process life. Everything around us, including the girl, everything is temporary. We are forever.
Doesn't eternity get boring?
Not if you have a purpose, Peter.
Eternity.
The only other Celestials we've met officially in the Marvel Cinematic Universe are Eson the Searcher, who the Collector shows when he's doing that flashback explaining the power gem. Then also, the base that they're inside, that big giant head, is the head of a dead Celestial, so you could count that as one too. But there are many, many more Celestials, and like Loki is telling Captain America this big story here while they're at the site of the carcass of an Alpha Celestial, which is one of the original Celestials. So if you remember Marvel Legacy last year, that's when they first introduced the idea of the Avengers 1 million BC, Odin's Avengers, with like the original version of the Phoenix, the very first Black Panther, the very first Starbrand. Like I said, I'll do a video about them later this week because they're like a whole separate thing. Marvel is laying the seeds for a very different looking Marvel Cinematic Universe in the future, which includes doing a lot of old school movies too. So like most movies right now take place in present day, we move the timeline forward. There are a couple exceptions to that, like we have Captain Marvel, which is taking place during the 90s. We had the original Captain America movie, which took place during World War II. Just prepare for them to explore more parts of the timeline that we've never touched before, which includes Eternals in the ancient history of the Earth. So remember that they're millions of years old. They've been around since the dawn of life on the planet. So you have to imagine a couple million years for Homo erectus, then eventually Homo sapiens. Then you have to imagine that humans as we know them today are only, several tens of thousands of years old. So we've only been around for a little while, even though the Eternals and humanoid life seeded by the Celestials have been around for millions and millions of years. So the really cool thing that they're teasing in the comics right now is that essentially it's Earth defending itself from a giant celestial host that's come to cull it. So it's not Thanos trying to erase half of all life, it's them trying to erase all of life. This is a wasted experiment. Humans were never intended to pan out. It would be like the universe telling you you're trash, then sending its celestial garbage men to come clean you up. That's what they're getting ready for. So that is the bigger threat than Thanos, without going straight to say like Dormammu. But it's just another option in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for another really, really big threat for the Avengers in Phase 4, 5, and 6. It's a little early to know what Kevin Feige's plan is for how they're going to plot out the next couple of phases. He said he has like the next 20 or so films planned out that'll probably change a little if they get some of the X-Men IP. Like I would love to see a version of the Avengers 1 million BC with Phoenix on the team. That would be badass. A young version of Odin, the very first Ghost Rider, the very first Black Panther, Phoenix, Starbrand that looks a lot like Hulk, and then the very first Iron Fist. So just let me know in the comments, how do you want them to incorporate the Celestials into Marvel Phase 4 and Phase 5? Even if they don't become the overarching villain and they don't do something like what they're doing in the comics right now, it feels like it's a lot of untapped history in the movies that they'll eventually get to through the Eternals movie. So remember, we know they're doing an Eternals movie. We know that they were created by the Celestials, so if you're going to do their origin, then you have to do Celestials in some way. What'll happen is I have a couple Ant-Man videos that I'll post in the next couple of days. My full review, post-credits, Easter eggs, all that stuff should post throughout the weekend, so I'll just update people in that top pinned comment on when videos are posting. But congratulations to Yanis, you're the latest giveaway winner. Please private message me so I can get your contact details. While you wait for all that, you can click here for my non-spoilery Ant-Man and the Wasp review, and click here for more new Avengers Infinity War deleted scenes. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.